Have you ever stood in a place you knew was yours, only to find it filled with someone else's junk? That was me, 3 years ago, staring into my own storage unit, dumbfounded. Unit 12 was supposed to be empty, swept clean, locked secure. Instead, I saw a chaotic pile of golf bags, a sagging inflatable reindeer, and what I swear was a full set of porcelain dog figurines. When I traced the mess to its source, the president of the nearby homeowners association, a woman who brandished her authority like a scepter, told me to deal with it. Oh, I dealt with it, all right. I dealt with it in a way that shook her world and left her HOA scrambling. My name is Henry Caldwell, a retired structural engineer, and this is the story of how I turned a storage unit invasion into a masterclass in principle, patience, and a perfectly legal takedown. I'm a man who values order, precision, fairness. When I bought a small strip mall on the outskirts of Maple Grove, a quiet suburb in Ohio, it came with a row of 15 self-storage units out back. They weren't the main draw, but they seemed like an easy way to earn some extra cash. I managed them myself, kept detailed records, and knew every tenant by name. Unit 12 had been vacant for 4 months, spotless and ready for a new renter. Or so I thought. During a routine check, I noticed a shiny new padlock on its door, not my standard issue. My stomach tightened. Had I missed a rental? A quick flip through my ledger confirmed. Unit 12, vacant. No lease, no deposit, no tenant. My first thought was a squatter, but the facility was gated, if not Fort Knox level secure. I slapped a polite notice on the door. This unit is occupied without a lease. Contact Henry Caldwell immediately or remove your belongings. I gave it 48 hours. Silence. The lock stayed put. Irritation turned to suspicion. This didn't feel like a desperate drifter. It felt bold. Entitled. I set up a trail camera, the kind I used for spotting bucks on a buddy's land, and aimed it at Unit 12. Within a day, I had my answer. The footage showed a woman with a blonde bob so stiff it could have deflected bullets, wrestling a gaudy garden fountain into the unit. Trailing her was a man in a polo shirt, lugging a box of ribbons and a megaphone. I knew them instantly. Margaret Hensley, president of the Oakwood Heights HOA, the sprawling neighborhood next to my property, and her frazzled sidekick, Roger. Margaret was a force. Her white SUV took up 2 parking spaces, and her perfume could clear a room. Oakwood Heights had pestered me before, whining about my trees, encroaching despite my surveys proving otherwise. Margaret acted like her HOA title gave her reign over the whole zip code. Fury simmered in my chest. This wasn't a mistake. It was an invasion. I saved the footage, a grim smile forming. Margaret Hensley had no idea who she'd crossed. I'm not just some old guy with a storage lot. I've wrangled zoning boards, tamed stubborn contractors, and mastered the art of documented facts. She was about to learn. I started civilly. I strolled to the Oakwood Heights clubhouse, where Margaret was micromanaging the placement of a tacky welcome sign. Mrs. Hensley, I said, voice steady. There's a misunderstanding about Unit 12. It's full of HOA items, but there's no lease. She gave me a slow blink, dripping with disdain. Mr. Caldwell, from that little lot next door? Her tone suggested I ran a junkyard. Yes, I said. Unit 12 is my property. You need a lease or to clear it out. She laughed a sharp, dismissive chirp. Oh, it's temporary. We needed space for festival decorations and pool gear. Surely you can spare 1 unit for the community. The word community was a weapon in her mouth. Temporary or not, I said, it's my property. Sign a lease or move your stuff. Her smile vanished. We're busy with the festival. We'll handle it later. Try being neighborly. She turned back to her sign, dismissing me. That was her mistake. My jaw clenched as I walked away. Neighborly? I'd show her neighborly. Polite talks were useless with someone like Margaret. I shifted to strategy. I sent a formal letter to the HOA board, care of Margaret Hensley, by certified mail, email, and hand delivery. It detailed the unauthorized use of Unit 12, cited my camera evidence, and gave 2 options. Clear the unit within 10 business days or sign a lease at $150 a month, backdated to their first use. I included my standard lease for clarity. Overkill? Maybe. But I've learned that with bullies, documentation is your sword. A week later, the certified mail receipt returned, scrawled with Margaret's loopy signature. The email was read. No response. On day 9, a letter arrived on HOA letterhead, signed only by Margaret. It was a masterpiece of arrogance, offering $25 a month for temporary use as a gesture of goodwill. She ended with, "We trust this fosters cooperation." Cooperation? My teeth ground. This was a slap. Worse, my camera showed Unit 12 overflowing golf clubs, a grill, boxes labeled President's Residence. Margaret wasn't just hoarding HOA gear. She was using my unit as her personal attic. I let another week pass, giving her rope to hang herself. Then I sent a second letter, colder, citing state laws on abandoned property. If the unit wasn't cleared or leased within 7 days, I'd auction the contents. I included a time-stamped photo of the stuffed unit. Certified mail, email, hand delivery check, check. On day 6, Margaret emailed, "Your harassment is uncalled for. We'll address this after the festival." She thought I was bluffing. She was wrong. I called my lawyer, Tom Ellis, a real estate shark. I shared everything: letters, photos, footage. He chuckled. "Henry, you've got her dead to rights. Follow the auction rules, and she's toast." He outlined the steps: public notices in the paper, a sign on the unit, precise wording. I printed a formal lien notice, listing the HOA as the tenant, the debt at $150 a month plus fees, and the auction date 3 weeks out. I posted it on Unit 12, advertised in the Maple Grove Gazette, and snapped a photo of the bulging unit for my records. Margaret probably laughed when she saw the ad, thinking I wouldn't dare. But I did. Auction day was crisp and sunny. I hired a no-nonsense auctioneer, Jim, who eyed Unit 12 and whistled. "Looks like a garage sale on steroids." By 9:45 a.m., 20 people milled around Rosellers, neighbors, thrill seekers. At 9:55, Margaret's SUV screeched in, horn blaring. She stormed out in a neon green blazer, Roger and the HOA treasurer, Ellen, trailing like scolded kids. "Caldwell," she shrieked. "This is theft." I stayed calm. "Mrs. Hensley, this is a legal auction for unpaid rent. I have all the paperwork." I held up my folder: receipts, notices, photos. She sputtered. "These are community assets. You can't sell them." Jim stepped in. "Ma'am, show me a lease or payment, and we stop. Otherwise, we start in 2 minutes." Margaret dialed the police, screaming about a crime. I just smiled. "Please, call them. I'll explain." Jim kicked off at 10 o'clock, rolling up the door to gasps. The crowd bid eagerly: $10 for Christmas lights, $15 for ceramic dogs, $300 for a fancy grill. The golf clubs, which Margaret claimed were custom, went for $450. Each sale chipped at her composure. She paced, fumed, and threatened lawsuits. The police arrived, 2 officers who reviewed my folder. "Ma'am," one said, "this is legal. It's a civil matter." Margaret's face went purple. "He's stealing." The officer shrugged. "Take it to court. Don't disrupt." The auction lasted an hour. Boxes marked President's Residence held personal trinkets, photo albums, tacky dolls. They sold for pennies, each sale a dagger to Margaret's ego. Roger and Ellen looked ready to vanish. When it ended, Jim tallied the proceeds. After my back rent, fees, and his cut, $400 remained. By law, it went to the HOA. I handed Margaret a check and receipt. "For your records," I said. She glared, refusing it. Ellen took it, mumbling thanks. Margaret stormed off, vowing I'd regret it. A week later, a lawsuit landed: Oakwood Heights HOA versus Henry Caldwell, claiming unlawful seizure and demanding thousands for irreplaceable items. Margaret thought she'd bury me. She miscalculated. Tom was thrilled. "This is a gold mine, Henry." Our defense was ironclad. Every legal step followed, every notice sent. We countersued for legal fees, calling her suit frivolous. Discovery was Margaret's undoing. We demanded HOA minutes, inventories, and financials. Their records were a mess: no board approval for using my unit, no receipts for the valuable items. In depositions, Ellen admitted Margaret acted alone, storing personal items under the HOA's name. Roger confessed she ignored my letters, thinking I'd cave. Margaret's deposition was a disaster. Tom showed photos of her loading attic overflow Hensley boxes. She stammered, claiming they were loaned to the HOA. Tom's gentle. "So you're suing for your own property with HOA funds?" broke her. Word spread. Oakwood residents, fed up with Margaret's reign, demanded answers. Her lawsuit collapsed. The HOA dropped it, paid my legal fees, and ousted her in a fiery vote. An audit exposed her shady deals, crony contracts, misused funds. The new board sued her for the auction losses and legal costs, and a state HOA watchdog fined her heavily. She sold her house at a loss and fled town, her SUV a fading memory. My units are now leased to honest tenants, my gate upgraded. The new HOA president, a soft-spoken CPA named Mark, apologized personally. Some people can't handle power, he said. I nodded. Nope, they can't. It was a battle over a storage unit, but it was never just that. It was about standing firm against a bully who thought rules didn't apply to her. My records, my patience, and Tom's legal savvy won the day. What do you think? Was I right to auction the HOA's stuff? Or should I have compromised? How do you handle bullies and injustice in your life? Share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear where you stand.